Big ghostly greetings, my children. This year we do not have much from the cape and costume crowd to look at, but we can always make room for one that embodies that which we love around here. So let's look at a little gothic horror and love story featuring the late Boston Brand, aka Deadman. A woman named Berenice has recently moved into Glencourt Manor with her boyfriend Nathan. She knows normally to avoid places like Glencourt, a house with history. History means death, pain, regret, and with that, ghosts. And Berenice has a very special talent. She can see the dead, all the ghosts still attached to a place. Old houses with names are full of suffering ghosts. But she fell in love and they were only going to stay temporarily in the manor while Nathan finished his book. And he's been sequestering himself in his study for many months to work on it. He's going to come out of it with a manuscript that just reads all work and no play leaves Jack a dull boy over and over. I'd read it. Still, it's not like she's left all alone with the ghosts. No, she has her friend Sam, a non-binary antiques dealer who has been more than happy to share their passion with her, especially since it means they can go inside the manor and see all the history in its furniture and decoration. But there is a new guest arriving one night after they return to the house after a show. Deadman. She pays him little mind at first, having long ago learned to ignore the distraction of the dead. But Boston has the ability to possess people, which he does after he fails to possess Sam. After she's released from Boston, we see another spirit haunting the place. A darker cloud of a specter that warns that she should never have come here, that the house will destroy her. Frightening, but at least she's building equity with this place. Nathan is also plagued by headaches ever since they moved back in, though he insists they stay until he finishes his work. Deadman, meanwhile, starts to protect Berenice from the dark shape. He tends to follow the call of spirits needing help, and he came to this house upon hearing a woman's voice. But now that he's in, he's unable to leave. Some sort of mystical barrier keeping him there. Even trying to leave by possessing a body and walking out isn't working. And what's more, Sam's touch expels him from her body. It's clear that there's some romantic tension between Berenice and Sam, partly because of Nathan's distance, partly just from shared attraction, though Berenice pulls away from them, recalling an instance when she had to break up with a girlfriend when she revealed her gift of seeing ghosts to her, and she didn't believe it. Once Sam leaves, Boston and Berenice talk, and he explains everything that has happened since he got here. Deciding to investigate, they try to learn more about the house and its history. Berenice doesn't know much about the woman Deadman saw, only that her painting is hung up, so they travel into the attic and discover a chest full of her possessions, like a wedding ring that contains strands of her hair. The woman, named Adelia Ruskin, is drawn out and she explains that she is trapped in the house same as Deadman, fearing the shadowy force inhabiting it. She remembers very little, only barely realizing that she is dead. Later, Deadman tries to examine her memories, but can only get a jumble. That she was murdered, that she has the ability to enter a dark place before emerging again, and that she is very angry. When they speak to Berenice again, she has some more history to share. That Adelia married the first owner and builder of Glencourt, Edward Ruskin. There was some suspicion that Edward had murdered her, but no evidence, especially since her body was never found. The house is not exactly considered haunted either. There are no reports of ghost sightings of Adelia or the shadowy force in all its long history, so no one really knows what happened or why she is still attached to this place. After later returning to the manor with Sam, Nathan reveals that he has finished his book and proposes to Berenice. But that reveals that the dark force is Adelia. Her rage and anger made manifest, and she attacks Nathan and causes the headaches he's suffering from. After they manage to calm her down, she has no idea why this would all be the case. Berenice finally reveals her powers to Nathan and Sam, though Nathan is more concerned with recovering recovering from his headaches, asking to simply rest on the couch for now. Deciding to finally investigate Nathan's study to see if maybe there's some evidence in there, she had an agreement with Nathan to never enter the study while he worked. But when the group finally goes in, they discover it filled with books on the dark arts, spell books and arcane rituals, and Nathan is indeed behind them. Or rather, as it is soon revealed, Edward Ruskin. Yes, Nathan is Edward, made immortal through a dark spell that involved murdering Adelia. As long as the manor stands, he cannot die, as evidenced by Sam when he accidentally stabs him in a struggle. He's been trying for some time to bind Adelia's spirit, but over the century and a half of her time as a ghost, she has fed off the dark energies used to imprison her, allowing her to break his bindings and get to this point, where she can finally attack him in her darker form. Deadman explains all this to the others after possessing Nathan, though Adelia can no longer hold back her rage and attacks him while Deadman still possesses him, preventing him from escaping. With no other choice, Sam and Berenice burn down the house to finally destroy Nathan and free the spirit he trapped here. They are successful, Deadman even allowing Adelia to continue her attack, if only to prevent Nathan from doing anything to stop this. The house burns, and so does Nathan, our heroes escaping relatively unscathed. Adelia is allowed the freedom to move on to the afterlife, and Boston hears the call of others who need help. Saddened by not being able to see Adelia again, given how they had bonded so much over their relative predicaments. Still, there's a happy ending for Sam and Berenice, who are most certainly getting together and ensuring that this tale of gothic romance does have a romance in it. And frankly, my children, I think that all love stories are improved by the presence of dead men and long-lost ghosts. Wouldn't you agree?